And I have begun recording, Bill.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So let's see here. If we could go ahead and start off with a brief introduction. We'll get around the room here and the organization you're representing, who you're with. And I think it'd be helpful to know if this, in particular, if this was your first EDC meeting that you're attending. So feel free to toss that in if you could. Peggy, why don't we go ahead and start with you?
Yes, I'm Peggy O'Donnell with Mid-Valley Promotions, and I'm on the chamber board, and this is not my first meeting. Thank you.
Very good. And let's see here. I'm just kind of trying to go in order as they appear on my screen. Tim, why don't you go ahead and jump in?
Tim Dutter, Economic Development with Opportunity, Stanislaus, and the SBDC.
Fantastic.
Not my first meeting.
For sure. Appreciate that. And Bob, go ahead.
Bob Kimball, City of Modesto Economic Development. Not my first meeting.
Very good. Thanks. And I see, is it Ralph?
Yes, Ralph Valencia. Thank you. I'm with Blue Telecommunications. And actually, this is my first meeting. I was just wanting to join in and learn more around the economic development going on in the Modesto area.
Fantastic. Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. And then let's see, we've got Andres.
Yeah, Andres Mendez here with Visit Modesto, and this is not my first meeting.
Very good. Very good. All right. And Alu, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Lou, I'm with Opportunity Stanislaus. This is my first meeting.
Very good. Excellent. Thanks for joining in. Todd, I heard you speaking up just as I jumped in here, so go ahead, sir.
Todd Aronson, Visit Modesto. Glad I could make you laugh. And not my first rodeo.
Right, for sure. Absolutely. All right. And Terry?
Terry Johnson. I'm in from the NAACP, and this is my first meeting.
Outstanding. Thanks for joining us, Terry. Appreciate that. Very good. And David?
David Wright, councilman, city of Modesto, and insurance broker in Modesto. Not my first meeting.
Very good. Thanks, David.
Happy
Appreciate
birthday
that.
to your dad.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Happy birthday to Dave's dad.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Today's my birthday too, Todd. You can say happy birthday to me.
Well, happy birthday, Dave.
Happy birthday.
Fantastic. All right, great. And I see a longstanding familiar face, Cecil. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Who are you and what do you do for a living, Cecil?
What do? I do whatever Trish tells me to do.
We need to buy him a razor.
That's not been true in 15 months.
Nice. Very good. Thanks for joining us today. And John Mensinger.
Hello, I'm John Mensinger with American Lumber Company, and I also am a director of the Modesto Irrigation District.
Fantastic. Excellent. And we've got Dejanay.
Hi, I'm Dejanay Shelton, and I'm the Career Services Director for Modesto Junior College.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us again.
And a Modesto Chamber Board member.
And a Chamber Board member.
There we go. Outstanding. Very good. Let's see here. I'm just trying to see if there was anybody that I had missed.
I don't think Bob has introduced himself yet.
Okay.
Unless...
And I'm sorry, Bob Kimball? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bob, go ahead.
I did, but because I had to come in by phone in addition to looking at the screen. So I think actually you see me twice on the list. Sorry.
We do.
It's okay.
Fantastic. Well, and Dan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself as well, if you would.
Great, thank you. Dan Levitt. I'm with the San Joaquin Regional Rail Commission and the San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority. So we are the owner operator of the ACE Rail Service, and we also manage the San Joaquin's rail service.
Excellent, thank you. So glad you're here today, and we'll look forward to hearing from you here in just a little bit.
Thank you.
So, all right, great. Well, Trish, if we could go ahead and take a look, please, at the minutes from last meeting, that'd be great.
They're already up, sir.
Okay. Fantastic. I'm just trying to navigate my screen here too, so I apologize. There we go. All right. So we do have the minutes here, and I do apologize that we didn't get more of an opportunity to review these prior to the meeting, but if we could go ahead and take a quick moment to review those. Some of you were here last meeting last month, the presentations from Dave White with Opportunity Stanislaus, and then of course also workforce development with Doris. So we would be open to taking a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
That almost sounded like Craig.
It was.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining us. I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Bill, can you go back to the top, see who was at the meeting?
Yes, we can. Actually, Trish is driving right now, so she can get there for us. Sure, thank you.
Can I ask who's joined us by number ending in 0163?
Good morning, Trish. This is Jalen. I'm also trying to log in with video.
Okay, thank you, Jalen.
I thought I was at that meeting, but apparently I wasn't. So I was going to second the motion, but.
You may have been there.
He's in, who, Craig? He made the motion.
No, just as far as members present. And so, David, if I have omitted you, I apologize.
David, sorry.
I don't know. Trish, if I was at that meeting, I'll second that motion.
I don't believe you were actually last month. I'm sorry.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Peggy.
Very good. We'll go back and double check those as well, David. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. All right, very good. Excellent. Well, we had a little bit of some kind of last minute shuffle here with our agenda and speaker presentation this particular month. But we are very glad to have Dan join us today. Thank you for your availability. We're looking forward to updates and so forth on transportation and rail and ACE here. So I think at this point, we would go ahead and turn it over to you. I don't know if there is a particular slide deck that we need to see or share, or if you have any notes that we should be referencing during your presentation.
Can you see it?
Yes, you got it. First try.
Thank you. Great. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Well, I appreciate this opportunity to give you an update on our efforts to expand both the ACE, and I'm going to talk a little bit, I'll focus on ACE, but I'll talk a little bit about the San Joaquin's expansion as well. And we do have an overall expansion program that we call Valley Rail. And just, I know I presented, you guys have seen various presentations over the year, just to remind you, ACE has been running for more than 2 decades between Stockton and San Jose. For COVID, we're at 4 daily round trips. Obviously, this crisis has impacted us just the same way it's impacted all public transportation throughout, not just California, but the country. I think we're all feeling a little bit better right now than we were a few months ago, that things are looking a lot brighter. And we are really looking forward to getting more back to normal. ACE was hit even harder than the San Joaquin's because our ridership is highly focused on commuters going into the Bay Area, particularly the Silicon Valley. And the Silicon Valley is largely closed at this point in terms of people coming into their office. We are, though, been polling our passengers, and they have expectations that they will be back in the office relatively soon. Even before COVID, ACE had a lot of people who telecommuted at least a day or two a week. We do think there may be some more telecommuting in the future, but probably from what our passengers believe, they might telecommute like a day more than they were previously. We also think that we'll be getting more people living out in the valley as a result of being able to telecommute more, because that is an attraction that you can get the lower cost housing out in the valley. But if you want to come into the office a couple days a week, then you're willing to make a trip, and we're hoping that they will take ACE rather than driving on the very congested freeways. The San Joaquins have been running for decades, serving the valley, serve a very different market than ACE, more focused on leisure travel. And so during COVID, the San Joaquins weren't hit as hard. And in fact, of all the sort of the state-supported rail services that are operated by Amtrak throughout the country, the San Joaquins retained more of its ridership than any other service in the country. And this is largely due to the San Joaquins, a lot of essential travel for the people making the trip. So even during the worst times of COVID, we still had a fair amount of ridership. We cut our total daily round trips down to 4 trips during this crisis. We are looking both with ACE and the San Joaquins to start bringing service back the next couple of months. So with ACE looking to bring back a 3rd round trip in a couple of months, and San Joaquins looking to bring back the 5th daily round trip, and hopefully getting back to the 7 relatively quickly. But we'll have to make sure that service is fully state funded, and we'll have to wait until we have the state funds available for us to be able to get back to the full 7 daily round trips. This figure just kind of shows you our what we call the Value program, our expansion program, which is to extend ACE up to Sacramento, down to Merced, and then also expand the San Joaquin service, more service to over the San Joaquins to Sacramento as well, using a shared corridor from Stockton to Sacramento. We've received about $1.3 billion over the last 4 years for this program, and we are looking to continue to grow this program over the coming years. And we are the efforts to implement this are all underway. We've got the environmental clearance from Stockton to Sacramento completed, with one exception. We are going to do an additional document for the Elk Grove station, but other than that, we've got full clearance to Sacramento. And all the yellow dots you see here on this figure, those are all new stations that we will be implementing. Just to get a little closer into getting to Modesto. And we do have 2 lines here. So the San Joaquins run on the, sort of the faint line that's shown here in gray. This is the San Joaquin service. They will continue to run along that service. This figure is really focusing on the ACE extension, where we are extending ACE, and phase 1 is to get down to series. We've got the full environmental clearance for that piece. We're almost complete with final design, looking to start construction by the end of this year. And our goal is to have the first train in Modesto by the end of 2022. That's our goal. 2023 is when we'll absolutely have service initiated to Modesto and to Ceres. We have the environmental document well underway from Ceres to Merced. The draft will come out expected April 21st, which is just a couple weeks from now. And I do think we'll make that date, and then we're looking to complete that by the fall. So that's another piece. No, it doesn't directly necessarily impact Modesto so much, but it is important for the connection ultimately from Merced, which I'll show you more later, that also connects to future high-speed rail. So that's an important piece for the future. And then I did want to just share with you, I think you've probably seen these, and I know that Adam couldn't be here today, but we've been working very closely with the city in terms of their project to really rehabilitate the transit center, so it's ready, sort of completely given a facelift. A service is initiated to Modesto, and we have been coordinating very much with them on their construction plans. And I believe a lot of the construction between the platforms, what we need to do for our station and the transit center will all be coordinated around the same timing. And so hopefully you'll have a situation where the station rehabilitation is done, and then shortly thereafter you have ACE trains running there. And we are working too to make sure that our effort really fits together. So you see, this isn't like 2 stations. This is one facility that serves both the transit needs and the rail passengers, and it'll all work together and really be well coordinated and look all as one sort of facility. And this is just a couple. I want to show you a couple of new slides. Thing that's different from what we've talked about in the past with the chamber and with the city earlier was that we had hoped to only have a single side platform on the east side of the tracks. In working with the deal with UP, really they required us to have two platforms. We have two side platforms on each side of the two UP tracks, and that's shown in this figure here. It's still going to fit in very nicely. What that does, though, is add in a component where we will need to have a pedestrian overcrossing. Pedestrians will be able to have access to both platforms on the street crossings, but for safety purposes, there does need to be a pedestrian overcrossing as well as part of this program. And I've got a couple of other slides that kind of show this a little bit better. And we are working with the city to make sure that the design fits in and looks really nice with it kind of complements the existing station, the existing transit center. And just a little closer up, and I should note that we will, this figure doesn't show it, but we will also have some shade structures. And again, we're going to try to make them, they may not be exactly like the shade structures over on the transit center, but they will certainly fit in. The design will be something complementary to what is on the other side of the tracks. And then this just gives you a little closer up of what the overcrossing, and this will include not only stairs, but it will have elevators as well for those who have mobility issues. And again, there will be, this is not your only option to cross the tracks, but this gives people an option in case there was a situation where a train happened to be blocking some of the other the tracks, you'd have another access that always would give you an option to get to the other side. And we do expect that in the mornings, the trains would be on the east side, on the east side where passengers would be able to come and not have to cross, and they'd be able to quickly get to the trains. And then in the evening, they'd be on the other side and would need to get across to the other side if they're parked on that side. But there will be parking on both sides for passengers. And then just a little further about the program, we are using a new line up to Sacramento. It's new, but it is an existing UP. We run completely on existing freight tracks, but we are using a different UP freight track that is currently used for passenger service. The San Joaquins currently bring trains up along this blue line, but that is UP's main line, and they're not allowing any more passenger trains on that alignment, any additional frequency. They're working with us to allow us to utilize their Sacramento subdivision, and a benefit of that is we can have additional stops in Sacramento, and additionally, one that we're looking at in Atomas that would have a connection to the airport. We'd have a shuttle that'll take passengers, and hopefully there'll be a direct line on Elkhorn Boulevard all the way into the airport. We won't have to get on the freeway at all. You go 10-minute straight shot to the airport with our shuttle bus. We are also now working with the Sacramento region and Butte County and the counties above, Sutter and Yuba counties, to look at a plan to further extend the rail service in the sort of midterm, next 5 to 10 years, even beyond Sacramento up to UC Marysville and the Chico, Oroville area as well. And I did want to kind of highlight, and I probably should have started off with this, but I do want to thank the Chamber and many of your other individual agencies and organizations that are part of the Chamber for all the support that you've given us over the years for this program. We could not do this without your support, and Stanislaus has been extremely supportive of both ACE and San Joaquins. We greatly appreciate that. And one of the most recent things, during this crisis, we haven't, things have been slowed down a little bit, but we've been working very hard. And one of the great achievements that we've been able to do over this the course of this pandemic is we were able to get another $120 million to be able to complete the Stockton Diamond grade separation project. And this is I want to spend a little bit of time on this because it's very, even though it's not in Modesto, this is a project that's very important for future mobility for Modesto. It's really a mega regional project. It's the worst freight rail bottleneck in the Western US, not just California, but in the Western United States. And this is where the UP and BNSF main lines cross. And it's just south of downtown Stockton. And this figure shows you what our project is there, where The current alignment is here, and this is where the crossing is. And what we're going to do is we're going to move the UP alignment a bit to the east, because we have to keep freight running completely during the time that we're building this overcrossing. And so we're going to build basically a grade separation, an overcrossing over this portion here, and it has to come down and get below SR4 here. So I've got another figure that'll show you kind of how this is going to look. But this is the basic project. We have the environmental document is out, available to the public. We're looking to get it approved in June, and we do have a NEPA process that's coming out in the fall. But we got $100 million in TSEP funds, $20 million in build funds, and we are matching that with other Valley Rail funds we have to complete this over $200 million project. But this is kind of gives you a sense of what this will look like. This is showing the UP tracks elevating over the BNSF, and this totally eliminates the bottleneck. And why this is important to Modesto is that, number one, this helps us keep trains on time in the future by eliminating this bottleneck, but it also opens up our ability to run more trains to the Bay Area, run more trains to Sacramento in the future, because otherwise with this bottleneck, we would have been capped at a certain number of passenger trains that we could run. And so we get more, it helps us with our on-time performance, reduces trip times a bit, but it also, most importantly, for the passenger side, allows us to continue to add service. And this is good for mobility for the region as well, not just for passenger service, but for freight as well. This is a huge benefit for freight as part of their national networks. And we got really good support from both UP and BNSF to do this project. And then I did want to show you how this fits in. Our Valley Rail program fits in with the sort of the statewide network. And where ACE is extending down to Merced, expanding up to Sacramento, the San Joaquins, we're actually going to truncate them. Where the San Joaquins today go all the way on to Bakersfield, but we're going to truncate the San Joaquins. And so all three services will meet together at Merced. And so the San Joaquins will truly become a feeder to this. I mean, this high-speed rail piece really is super San Joaquins. And in fact, even with the initial operations of this, we have worked in an initial agreement with the High-Speed Rail Authority where our agency, one of our agencies, the San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority, will be the operating agency for this initial piece until high-speed rail is able to get service all the way to the Bay Area. But you can see by this figure, even when high-speed rail gets service to the Bay Area sometime in the future, that this piece that we're doing, both ACE and San Joaquins, is absolutely vital for connectivity to the northern San Joaquin Valley and Sacramento into the Bay Area. And then this is just a little, in order to get the San Joaquins to be able to bring everything together, that the high-speed rail, ACE and San Joaquins are all going to be along the UP corridor. So that does mean we need a connection to be implemented to get the San Joaquins down to that Merced station. And we're just about to, expecting to start. We've requested the funds to start the environmental work on this, but we've been coordinating with high-speed rail to make sure that we're all together on the design for how this will work together. And then this just shows you how it all fits in. I mean, a lot of people are concerned about, service, operating just from Merced to Bakersfield. Initially, they're talking about 18 round trips a day, but this is just showing you that it's all integrated into a statewide network where this is really truly kind of a super San Joaquins, where today we only, we had 7 round trips before COVID. With this one in 2030, we're expecting to have 18 round trips, and that'll all be connected with bus service to the south and with our rail services to the north. And so we're expecting much higher ridership and a far superior service than what we have today. And this kind of shows you a little closer in the network in the north. And I did want to just highlight, you might hear about another project called Valley Link. I mean, we have our Valley Rail and then there's Valley Link, a little confusing. We got our name first, but Valley Link folks are our partners. They're looking to build a service between Stockton and Dublin Pleasanton BART. And so we are coordinating ACE service with that Valley Link. And our hope is that we'd be using shared infrastructure from Stockton all the way in to Livermore. And so that we'd be working together as partners. We have also signed an MOU that our rail board, our rail commission would be the operating agency for future Valley Link service as well. And all of this will be integrated. So initial high-speed rail operations, San Joaquins, ACE, and Valley Link will all be integrated services with one operating managing agency. And then this is just last I had a couple slides. We are getting new equipment. We do use diesel equipment. We are migrating. We want to get to zero emission equipment sometime in the future. I mean, that is the state's goal, that we'll be all using zero emission equipment. We are now with this new diesel on the A side. We've got a fleet of chargers. They're tier 4. San Joaquin's been using the tier 4 for a number of years. These are right now the least polluting diesel equipment out there today. They reduced from our previous ACE locomotives about 85% the pollutants. In addition, they're also more powerful. And so previously, ACE could only carry 7 coaches over the ultimate pass, over the hill, over the grade. Now with these new tier 4 locomotives from Siemens, we can carry 10. That's 30% increase in capacity. And so not only are we reducing pollutants, but we're also increasing the ability to carry more passengers on limited number of trains. So this is quite important. And this picture that you see here, you'll see there, we're showing 2 locomotives. This is taken during COVID, so we couldn't cram the trains full. And so the 2 locomotives, the second one was really serving as a weight to show that it simulated the passengers. But the 1 locomotive was able to carry all 10 cars without any problem and maintain our schedule. And we are looking to do in the near term to sort of, and this has already been tested in the Valley with the freight side, but we want to get like an electric car that would be a secondary car after the locomotive. And so this is something we want to get a pilot program for in the next few years that would act, so our train would be kind of like a Prius. I mean, so it would be able to run on electric sometimes and diesel sometimes, and particularly use the electric when you're going through the communities. And so that is something that we are also working, again, towards is ultimately having zero emission train sets. And then I did want to mention, we are getting new San Joaquin's equipment. We are getting we have the new charger locomotives that we're receiving, but we're also getting new coaches for the San Joaquin's. We have the first train set for the San Joaquin's already in. It's being tested. It should start running this fall. And each year we'll be getting more. We're getting 7 new train sets. And so we'll have brand new equipment for the San Joaquin's in the next few years. And then this is my last slide. This is just part of a bigger, I mean, this is the long term. Long term, we're building up to something where someday you will have the ability to run with electrified, separate from freight, very frequent service. This isn't, this will take decades to do, but we're building towards this. So the steps that we're taking in the next few years are leading up to a much bigger vision for something where you'd even be able to run high-speed trains. We're looking as soon as possible to get it through running from Merced all the way to Sacramento. And we got a lot of information on our website. Our environmental documents are up there, and each parts of our program are up there and available for more details. I'd open up if you have any questions.
I've got a question, Dan. Thank you very much for coming. But my question is, and there's multiple that came up a long way, but the one I have today or right now is, how about your connection to BART? I know in the past, it seemed like you were going into Livermore and then there you had to catch a bus to get over to BART. How is that coming and what do we do about it?
That is still how you, with ACE, that is how right now that you get to BART. What we are working on with partners in the Tri-City, so that's the Tri-Valley area, and there's 2 things that are happening. One is this Valley Link program, and they do have some funding for this program. They've got about anywhere from $600 to $800 Bay Area funds already identified for this project that are focused on implementing this. Now they need about $2 to $3 billion, so they need additional funding to move forward. But this project is moving forward sort of on a fast track, and they're looking to get additional funds. So that is one way to get a more direct connection. We are looking to work on shared infrastructure, and there's possibilities of having future equipment to get you there directly. Another thing that we're looking in the short and really more the short term is with ACE. You got it absolutely correct. Right now, your best option is to get off at Pleasant and catch our shuttle takes you to BART. Another thing we're working on is in the Tri-City, Fremont, Union City, Newark area, that we may be able to add some additional frequency that brings passengers to Union City BART. And that's something that, as we find that we're kind of constrained right now to be able to have these trains. We think we can get fifth down to San Jose, but right now without some significant improvements, it's difficult for us to get more trains to San Jose. So we could add additional trains to Union City BART, and they give you a direct connection without having to transfer. And that is something that City of Union City is very excited about, is pushing hard for. We're in the midst of doing studies with Alameda County to see what it would take to make that happen. That is something that could happen in the relatively near term. But when I say near term, it's going to be at least a few years. I mean, it's not something that we could do tomorrow. It's more, it's more sort of like the 3 to 5 years minimum to be able to do something like that. So, but we are working on it. So now you have an option. It's a bus, but we're trying to get a direct rail connection in at least a couple places.
So today, if you wanted to get to BART, you could either go on ACE, like I said, take the shuttle over, or it looks like, according to this, you could go to Lathrop, get over to Valley Link, and that'll take you right to a station there in Pleasanton. Is that?
Yeah, the only problem is you said today, and this Valley Link doesn't exist today.
I mean.
Well, no, it won't be in 2023. It'll take, Valley Link won't be implemented to at least 2028 at the minimum.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So unfortunately, these things do take time to so, but I mean, so, for a while, the bus is going to be your best option until we're able to get one of these rail options in.
And then what about getting to Sacramento Airport?
That's coming. So for the airport connection, that will be via Natomas. The station is not at the airport. It's off of Elkhorn Boulevard, which is close to the airport. And as I mentioned, I think by the time in the next few years, initially we could still get there by having to make a sort of a diversion over to I-5, but eventually Elkhorn Boulevard will be a straight shot to the airport. And so we will have a shuttle there. Once our service starts, we'll have a shuttle that takes people to the airport. There are also there's some business areas as well that are being implemented that it also could be served, but the main purpose of the shuttle would be to take people to the airport.
And then my last question, at least for now, is it seemed like in the past you were going to have to build a new rail line through Long 99 to not have a problem with freight trains. Is that where your second track you pointed out in the Modesto station? Does it mean that we will have two different tracks? I mean, you show it here, but how far does that dual track go?
Yeah, let me, so you've got a good memory. When we first started working on this with UP, and even when we did the clearance even has it for an additional track all the way going down, and we were looking at additional track all the way down to number 6. That's not what's being implemented. We've been working with UP. We've been able to work, a deal with UP so that instead we're really focused on getting a complete double track, as you said. And that part of the deal for that is when we talked about this station. So that's part of the thing.
Yeah.
At the stations where all the stations really need to be, double platform, or many of the Modesto is a little bit different that we're doing because of the historic nature of this. And many of the other locations, we use what we call a center platform. So you'll see at other stations that we end up implementing you have a center platform that enables to be able to use either. And that was a really requirement for UP to us to be able to narrow down the infrastructure to do a full double tracking. So we are implementing a little bit less infrastructure than was initially planned along the line, but then there is some more infrastructure at the stations that's required.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan, this is Cecil. Would you
Hi, Cecil.
Would you go over again the new stations, or not the new station, but the combined station downtown Modesto and that overcrossing? When do you expect those to be completed?
This will all have to be completed before we start operations. And so we're looking towards the end of 2022 or very early 2023.
So when does that start? Do you know?
The construction, we hope by the end of this year.
By the end of this year. Okay, and then
we're finishing final design, yeah. So we're looking to start construction hopefully by the end of this year.
And then the last question I have, initially you were going to have to do a new crossing over this Stanislaus River. Is that still going, or does that have to be done?
Yes, we're still doing the bridges. They're being phased in. So that may not be not all the improvements will be done 2023. Some of the improvements will come a year or two later. Then we'll be years between 2023 and 2025. That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that, Dan. I do have a question as well. You mentioned that all the environmental work that was needed to get the connection from Lathrop to Ceres, like you said, has already been completed, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so and just kind of maybe follow on that, if you can give us some background color on any other environmental work that's needed to be done either between Ceres to Merced or any other areas in the planned expansion.
Yeah, so Ceres to Merced is the one that's going right. The two pieces of environmental, I guess we have three. We have three environmental documents that are underway right now. The Stockton Diamond grade separation is out. And it's in draft form, the EIR, an EA will be coming. The EIR is out. You can review it. That's for the big separation project that I talked about earlier. The Ceres percent document will be out, I believe, April 1st. I mean, that's the date that we have set, and I'm fully expecting to make it. I'm pushing the team. So that will be out and working out this process to be completed by fall. Hopefully, the first train. The other piece we have that is a little moving fast track is Elk Grove Station. The one piece for the Sacramento extension that we complete was the Elk Grove Station. We ran into some difficulties with the location that we had proposed in the initial environmental document. Elk Grove. We have a spot that we think is much better than we looked at before. It's going to be a higher ridership spot. It'll be a standalone environmental document for that. And so those are the three pieces that we're currently working for in terms of environmental.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan, this is John Valines. I came a little late. I apologize. And you may have, you probably talked about this, but to piggyback a little bit on what Bill said, as I'm looking at this map you have up right now, when do you, are you kind of going north to south where you'll work on the Ripon station first and then Modesto, then Ceres? Are they all going to be simultaneous? And how does that look?
That's simultaneous. We got to get, we have to get the Ceres. Ceres is where our initial layover will be. Some people got confused. That's sort of the initial term, but the Ceres means we will get to Modesto too. Modesto is our big market. So yes, we expect to have those stations in. And the first train that we believe will be running will be the direct train to San Jose. Then will be followed by service from Ceres to Sacramento. So the direct train from Ceres down to San Jose.
Okay.
So Dan, if there are any other questions, I'm glad to hear this update. Some of us have been with you for 10 years, working on this, and this room been helping and help promoting. This is Craig and John, and I know we're really happy. And so we're really looking forward to this expansion and for Modesto getting served and the rest of the valley. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cecil.
I had one question.
So I just look forward to coming out of this COVID, and it's been kind of tough for all this, but I really look forward to some groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings with you all very soon.
I had a quick question if I could still.
Sure, go ahead.
Thanks. Sorry, I also got here late. I was able to squeeze this in during my lunch break at work real quick. I can't wait, so I just wanted to get a definitive date. If you said that, what day are we looking at for downtown station? What's the latest?
Our goal is end of 2022. That's our goal.
Okay.
But it's a little tight. We're working with the city to get all the improvements in, everything that needs to be done. 2023, we'll have it running by 20. We'll have the first train absolutely by 2023, but we're still working to try to get it 2022. And Tony, okay. I will send you some slides. I don't know if you saw. Did you see all the slides?
I came in here about 20 minutes or so after I think it started, 20-25 minutes. So
I will send these to you so you can see these are our latest of the station area, so you can see sort of the limits of where the facilities will
overcrossing,
yeah.
Or the overhead footbridge.
So I'll forward these to you, but anyway, I just want to show you this is our latest. Yeah.
Very good. I don't know if there are any other questions from attendees.
Thank you, Dan. We're really excited.
Thank you so much. And anytime, just appreciate it, and I look forward again to brighter days ahead.
Dan, Todd would like to have you put your contact info and presentation link back up again, if you could, please.
Sure.
Oh, I have another question while we're wrapping up. When will the Southern Pacific Station in downtown Modesto be completed, their remodel be completed?
It's late 2022.
Okay. About the same time as.
Yeah, we're coordinating so that a lot of the construction, the nice thing about the way it's turned out is that the construction should all be kind of going on around the same time.
Okay.
We're all coordinating with each other, we're working together, and it should all kind of work together during that same time. And so, yeah, by the end of 2022, you should have a very nice, brand new facility.
Fantastic. Thanks again, Dan. I really appreciate that. We did have actually a few folks that came in shortly after we started the meeting, and I know we didn't get to include everybody in introductions, so maybe if we could circle back around and finish those out, that would be very helpful. I see that we had Tony. We just got a question from a moment ago. Tony, if you could share with us who you're with.
Tony Madrigal, City Council member, Modesto representing District 2, which includes all of downtown West Modesto and South Modesto. And hey, I gotta go.
Okay, great. Thanks, Tony. And we also had Roger join us. Oh, Roger, looks like you're muted, sir. There we go.
Good afternoon, Roger Shanks. I'm Roger Shanks, Consulting Land Use Planning and Chairperson of the Modesto Planning Commission at this point. So I'm excited to see what's going on. I'm looking forward to what this is going to do for us for downtown.
For sure. Fantastic. Okay. And we also had Monica, if she's still with us. Oh, Monica, are you muted?
Oh, there we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Good seeing everyone, at least through Zoom. Hopefully we'll be able to see everyone get together here soon in person like we did, before everything happened last year. But yeah, no, I'm actually with City Ministry Network as the Director of Economic Development for the Community Development Corporation team.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate that. And let's see here. Jalen, I think you jumped in here a little bit late too, but glad to have you with us today.
Am I introducing myself?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good afternoon. Jalen French, Community and Economic Development Director with the City of Modesto. We have, as Dan mentioned, been working with their group quite extensively, and it is too bad that Adam was not on. His team's been doing a lot of good work, but I'm really looking forward to that catalytic project in downtown and in the city.
For sure. Fantastic. And did I see also, Mesret? Is that right?
I don't still see her. She might have dropped off. I think John's the only other one left. John Valines, that is.
I guess that's my cue. So, hi everyone, John Valines. I am with the Modesto Gospel Mission.
And the chair of our GRC.
Sure.
And a board member, actually.
All of that and more.
That's right. Very good. Excellent. Well, I think we're probably wrapping up time today for this meeting a little bit early. And certainly do, again, appreciate everybody being here. And Dan, thank you so much for the overview and catch up on all of the projects. It really is exciting to hear the integration and how things are pressing forward. So we'll look forward to getting updates from you in the future, and want to stay in touch with you and continue to collaborate with you. And as you well said, looking forward to having some groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings and all those kind of good things. So we certainly look forward to those and your partnership with the Chamber. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Trish, I don't know if we have any other final announcements for our time today for a meeting.
No, I'm going to stop recording here and just appreciate having you all join us.